Well, hello and good evening, good morning, good night, depending upon where in the world you're watching this from and what time of day. My name is Gabrielle, and I'm absolutely thrilled and so excited to get into day 3 because this is the accumulation of all of this foundational work that we've been doing all week long. And then tomorrow, we get into like the fun stuff, the super fun. Although, you know what? This stuff is really fun to me. And I've come at you the past 2 nights, in the past 2 videos, with a lot of content, some deep questions. And so I hope that you're like really digging this content. And by you being here, I know the answer is a yes. And I'm absolutely thrilled to have you. So without further ado, let's get into it. Day 3 is all about the inner well-being elements and about balance. I firmly believe, and through trial and error, through many years of different scenarios, when you are coming from a balanced place, like it's just more ease and flow, and the decisions are more on point. And so we're going to get into all of that this evening. So let me share my screen and let's get into it. Okay, so today, do you want to create a more balanced life? Heck yeah. Do you want to nurture your inner well-being, your soul, your core, those foundational elements that make up who you are? Are you absolutely ridiculously over stress sabotaging your success? And are you ready to start achieving and manifesting things with ease like you never have before? So today you're in the perfect place. In fact, I'm going to ask you a question. I should have hidden this slide, so don't look. And if you have, I would love to ask you the things that you love. Like, what do you love in your life? What's your favorite things? And I bet is like immediately things that pop up in your head, you are not amongst that. How long would it take you to say yourself? See, it's in our nature from what a child, and being like infancy, to please other people and put other people first. And so it's one of the last things we think about is loving ourselves. But it's crucial in order to like everything else happening in your life. And I know you want an extraordinary life. We all do. We all can feel that we're here for some deeper purpose. We might not go on to like invent things that the world winds up, becoming a household name, but you have big things to do on this planet. And you definitely want that extraordinary vibe to your life. And so you just need to figure out how to have equally extraordinary routines and rituals to get you there. You are getting ready to create your own destiny. So, about me, I am absolutely horrible sometimes at introducing myself. I know we have some new people that have joined in on this challenge that I have not met before, and I think I've taken that for granted in the past couple of videos. So my name is Gabrielle, and clearly my company is called Live a Ridiculously Amazing Life. And it's all about soulful approaches to goal setting and time management when it comes down to it. But what really resonates with people is that it's about eliminating stress. It's about creating a life that feels good, that feels complete, that feels like you're on your divine mission that connects with your soul. Like that's what I'm all about. I'm not about these, in fact, I have, if you go to the website at ridiculouslyamazinglife.com, I have a freebie you can download because I think SMART goals are dumb. And I have a whole download about that and why it doesn't connect you to achievement. So designing life balance is my passion. Slaying goals is my passion. Making the unimaginable a reality is my passion. And when you're giving too much in one area, the other areas are starving. And you feel it. It has a ripple effect through your life. So I'm all about creating that correct ripple effect that you want that creates positive change, not more stress and drama in your life. I'm all about stopping the energy sucks. And as we've mentioned, these inner well-being elements that we'll be discussing tonight, when you balance these, you make decisions from a whole, full serving perspective. It's not a reactive, make the pain stop, desperate kind of way. It's not putting a Band-Aid on it. Like it's in alignment, people. And it doesn't get better. But you have to have the balances in order to be coming from that point of view. So tonight, these are the questions that we're going to be digging into this evening. It's how you can do a to-do list detox. Sounds good, doesn't it? And how you can change your POV and get a different ROI. And for those of you that don't know the abbreviations with the acronyms, it's point of view and a return on your investment. Because this is an investment in yourself. Absolutely 1,000,000%. And how you can stop compartmentalizing your life and start to fully integrate it by having more balance and feeling more whole and making these decisions from the right place versus the wrong one. So your inner well-being elements. I can put money on the table if I was a gambling woman that you have been stuck in some kind of habit that's not serving you. And when we get stuck in these habits, our feelings of being overwhelmed absolutely paralyze us. Life balance and our inner well-being is necessary to completing your goals with less stress. So, how do you start detoxifying your to-do list? Right? We're not even getting into adding in your dreams and ambitions in this one. I want you to get comfortable to start with what you have on your plate. Now in day 4 and 5, I'm going to show you how you can wind up incorporating that stuff, like really focusing number 1 on your wants versus your I have tos. But tonight, because everybody's got a to-do list and we haven't created the other stuff yet, we're going to start with the to-do list detox because that's what's overwhelming you right now, correct? So I want to get back to this concept of rituals. Rituals give us compassionate discipline to designing and handling our days. You focus your attention and energy on a certain feeling that you want to accomplish in your day, that you want to receive or feel with a task that you're completing. Regardless of what's happening around you, like rituals, it's celebratory, it's meaningful, and it does require a different type of engagement, a very positive type of engagement. And this approach teaches you to choose, picking the emotion, the results, and actions that you want. So let's just look at the opposites here. So in one column, I have kind of that routine vibe that we get with our to-do list, right? That it's like you're not really engaged. Let's think of some tasks. Like you got to do laundry, you got to do the dishes, you got to pick up the kids from school, you got to run to the grocery store. Like there's just life that we have to do, right? So it's kind of like what we talked about yesterday with the conscious and the subconscious, where it's just kind of on autopilot. So you're really not engaged with that. It just feels meaningless. Like it's something that you have to do this. It's externally driven because if you don't go to the grocery store, your family's going to be really ticked off and they're going to starve and it's just not going to be good. It feels like it's a duty that it's on your shoulders as a mother, wife, taking care of your family, wherever you are in your life right now. It's bland and dull. just kind of disconnected from it, and you just want to get the damn thing done. Right? Does that sound about right? Now, when we ritualize this, you flip the switch on it, and you can like wind up with max engagement and being fully like invested in these to-dos that you need to get done. You can feel the meaning behind it. It becomes deeper than just, well, I just got to run to the grocery store. In fact, with something like that, I'm going to give you an example here of routine versus ritual. Like, oh, I got to go to the grocery store. I got to like pick up stuff. The fridge is empty and we're going to starve. You get to feed your family. You start like when you start ritualizing stuff, you start like really connecting with the blessing that is. It becomes like internally motivating and satisfying. It's a celebration. It's bright and joyous. You're connected to like the whole what it's about that you're doing and the task that you're performing. And you feel accomplished. Do you see the shift there? It goes to like gratitude and contentment, thankful and happiness. In fact, this came to me a number of years ago, and it was just such a pivotal shift in my life. I had there's a big story into how that came about. I wound up actually working with some people that were disadvantaged, and it was at a time in my life where there was a lot of just life was just crashing in. It was like one of the worst periods of my life ever. And in going through that, I thought, you know what? I want to be of service to people who have less than me. It was just like a soulful thing that I just felt really called to do. And so I started helping mothers who had special needs children. And then I wound up working with elderly that were handicapped and homebound. And let me tell you what, like somebody who can't shower themselves, somebody who can't unload the dishwasher. Before I started doing that, I remember thinking like, oh God, I gotta like the dishes. And it would take like 5 minutes. It wasn't even a big deal. So this is when this shift started to happen for me. And before that time, like I'm telling you, like in this period of my life, everything, like the rug got pulled out from underneath me. Horrible period in my life. Absolutely devastating. And so some of these things started coming to light. And as I was experiencing this, actually, like I started receiving more. I started being grateful for everything, like going to the grocery store. And man, I'm going to get deep with you here. But when I go to check out, I say thank you. Thank you for being able to feed myself. Thank you for being able to feed my family. Like it's crazy, y'all, but it works. The universe rewards a grateful heart. The universe doesn't want to give somebody something that they're like, they don't even appreciate what I got. Does that make sense? Like, it's really, really deep, but it's like, it's pivotal. And my dog is, do you hear him? How adorable is that? He's having a puppy dream. So then I clearly, if you've watched the first video, you know that I travel extensively. And I see it everywhere I go. I call it like the vacation mode. You know, when like you land someplace, everybody I think has been on a vacation. And he's nesting now, getting comfy. But when you go on vacation, like all your senses are engaged, especially if you go to a country that it's just completely different. It can happen within the United States because I've traveled all over the United States as well. And there's just all little micro communities within the U.S. as you travel around the 50 states. But when you go to a different country and it's just all your senses are engaged, like everything, you're taking it in, right? It becomes that ritual vibe where it's max engagement, it's meaningful, like you're so pumped, you're on this vacation, which is a huge internal motivator. It's a reward for all the labor of work that you've done, all the savings you've done to get there, the organization. It's a celebration. It's bright and joyous. You feel completely connected with the people that you're experiencing and meeting, and it's just an accomplishment, isn't it? Gratitude, contentment, thankful, and happy. You see how that shift just creates a whole different momentum that you can capture? I'm telling you, people. And what also winds up happening is that things happen when you're not looking for it. We're going to get into that a little bit here in some other slides. But we've all had that experience, right? Especially, like people in relationships. How many people said, when I wasn't looking for a relationship, it happened? When I wasn't trying for this, it happened. So coming for a more relaxed, happy, centered spot. Okay, so I think I've dug into that enough. Let's move on. So how do you change your POV and get a different ROI on what we were just talking about? Okay, so I have a different concept for you. So what if you completely ignored your goal for the next month? And let's say your goal is, we're going to use weight loss because it's always a popular one. I guess I was a size 22 at one point in time. So this is at my heart too, is accomplishing this stuff. So let's say you totally ignore your goal for the next month. And you just focus on the daily rituals that reinforce what you want to achieve. You think you'd still get positive results? I'm telling you, you get more results than stressing about getting on the scale every day and, oh my gosh, I moved 2 pounds, but now I'm back up 1 pound and this, that, I want to have a cheat meal. When you start connecting with just what needs to get done and making those improvements in your lifestyle, you get more positive results. That's when all my weight started to shed, when I just started to enjoy it and say, you know what? I love myself. I love my body. I'm getting older. You think about, I didn't get into it in this training, some kind of different approach. But if you go to my website and you watch the Be the Girl series, I get into some of this philosophy as well. But it alleviates pressure, and you start to enjoy the steps that it takes to get there. It becomes more playful and energetic versus another chore or activity on your to-do list. Are you starting to pick up with the shift? Are you starting to connect all the day's dots? It's good stuff. It's good stuff. It works. It's powerful. So, keeping with my losing weight example, I'm just going to spell it out here for you. So ignore the goal to lose 25 pounds. We're going to ignore it. When we get into day 5, I'm going to introduce you to the tools and the strategy stuff that I use in order to map all this out. And on there, I will put the goal. I want you to see your goal every day. However, that's it. It's there to remind me about why I'm planning my day the rest of the way. But I just want to enjoy the steps. I want to savor the good food. I want to enjoy however I choose to exercise every day. I want to challenge my body and see what I can achieve and what I'm capable of, because you will wind up impressing yourself in ways that you never thought you were even capable of or could imagine. You still get results. In fact, you get better results approaching it this way. It's about the enjoyment and becoming the best version of yourself. And that's a process of development. The pressure's removed and the energy is shifted. It's not the obsession about losing 25 pounds. It becomes about the journey, which we've discussed over the past couple days. And it creates a very positive ripple effect of fulfillment. Because every day, instead of looking at the 25 pounds, when we get into the system on day 5 and I show you this, instead of focusing on that 25 pounds, you're now checking off accomplishments every day and you're building your self-confidence without even knowing it. You're like, yep, I did that. And yep, I did that. It's phenomenal, y'all. By making it a daily ritual, you change your life, you change your point of view, you change your energy, your attitude. Like, it is all about becoming the best version of yourself possible. And it's fun. So question number 3. How do you stop compartmentalizing your life and just fully integrate this balance? I love this quote from Pablo Picasso. Never permit a dichotomy to rule your life. A dichotomy in which you hate what you do so you can have pleasure in your spare time. Look for a situation in which your work will give you as much happiness as your spare time. That's brilliant. Brilliant. And although some of us, your work is what it is, you might love what you do and you feel like, well, gosh, I can't like blend that in and not compartmentalize it. Like, let's say you're a surgeon. You have a family. Like, how are you blending that all together? We're going to get into that. But it's about having that passion fully integrated with life balance. So let's get into this. So instead of life having individual sections, like work, exercise, family, spirituality, happiness, there's a lot of individual sections that we could put there, correct? It's more productive and efficient to integrate and overlap these areas to create the life of your dreams. People who compartmentalize, and these aren't the people who love what they do when they go to work and come home, they're the I hate Mondays and thank God it's Friday people. You're slaving away at something that you hate all day, all week long in order to have a break for 2 days. That pains my heart. And I've lived that. I've lived that for years, just trying to do everything that needed to happen for the family and the daycare center story. It wasn't my dream to start a daycare center ever. I did it because it fit what needed to happen. And so many of us, like, I respect if that's where you are in your life, absolutely. This is talking about becoming the soulful version of yourself that you want, and it's a transition, and it's a journey, and you can get there if this is, where you're at. And this is just one example, right? So if you integrate your life correctly, you're never going to be wishing for that missing element ever again, in this case, the Fridays. But for some of us, it might be something different. There's something that we're missing from our life that we want more of, or we want to experience, and we want to have that full balance. So the 4 major areas of your life, and this is, it's a pretty universal thing. We talk mind, body, spirit, or spirit, mental, emotional, physical. And I love the elements and how they're connected and balancing each other. So your focus, values, and actions are really kind of spread over within these 4: spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical. And the good life comes through that being balanced. When you're centered, you're making decisions from the right place. So here's my definition of this. Fire, getting into an element that's connected with this. Spiritual, soulful, it's your purpose, it's your personal drive, your willpower. Air is mental and your mindset. It's your intention, it's your connection, your curiosity. Water, emotions, feelings, it's cleansing, intuitive. It can be overwhelming, it can be negative, it can be positive. And earth, it's the physical, like any physical work that you do, taking care of yourself, nourishing, grounding, your lifestyle. Now, can you see how if one of these is out of balance, it can affect the other one? If you're not feeling so fully connected, then possibly your mindset isn't right. If you're not taking care of your body, your emotions might be, negative or depressed. So is this whole balance thing starting to make sense? give a yes in the comments, a high five, fist bump, whatever. So this is where we start to get into these, like this elemental work. And I'm just giving you a sneak peek into this. I have a course that'll be coming out beginning of 2019 is when I'll run it again. And it gets really deep into this stuff and the different ways to apply it. And it's phenomenal. But that's not even on the table to talk about right now. Sorry. So here's just some examples of what can happen when your elements are off and the life balance is off. If you're overactive one of those areas, now each element is different. So I've just pulled examples from, different elements, but possibly if it's overactive, you could be fearful, nervous, feel insecure. If it's underactive, you're unemotional, you're closed off to others, lack self-esteem. There are psychological symptoms like being needy, codependent, depressed, negative thought patterns, and physical symptoms. Oh my gosh, how many of us get that? The nerves, headaches, migraines, anxiety, like all this stuff that can affect us. And it's so important to have this balance. And the elements, they work together so beautifully to balance each other. So can you get an idea of how these all interplay and why they're so important? Now, there's two different approaches that I teach in this course that's not out till 2019. But one is with the intention, with intentions. And you can also be reflective on using the elements. So you can sit down each day and set the intentions that you want for each element, and then stay on track with that with your goals. Or that you can be reflective at the end of the day. I actually do both. It's part of just, I want to check in with where I'm at. It's very, very quick. I do it all in this really cool system and that I've developed, and it takes no time at all. And so I like to go back and just see where the day took me. Was I on track with what I wanted? And each day is different. Each day you have a mix of variables that are kind of out there fighting in the world. And like last week, I had a thing happen with my dog. And gosh, emotionally, it's so devastating. But yet I had trainings that I was doing and work I was doing. So I had to stay very centered with his needs and being, serving with the proper intentions and being centered for the work that I needed to do. Then also with the elements, there's the inner and outer connections with the actual elements themselves. So we have this spiritual, deep, soulful inner approach, but then we also have the outer approach. And sometimes, let's say if you're feeling angry, you want to get out and take a walk. Fire, water, how these elements balance each other. And it's so true. And I actually realized this, let's say, I already knew it, but it really started to connect when I was I'm not going to say the country that I was in, but I was having a really, really hard time in this country. It's kind of a war-torn, devastating environment. And it was very emotionally overwhelming to me. And because of that that stress fire, I found a cafe that was by the water, and the water was the turquoise color, and it was flowing, and the sound, it was soothing to my senses, and I was able to hammer out my work. So a lot of time we live in Switzerland, and going up in the Alps, oh my gosh. I never thought I'd be a mountain girl until I was in the Swiss Alps, and especially the Bernese mountain region. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite places on the planet. And it just soothes my soul. Like there's just something, like all the elements come together and connect there. So when you combine these elements with, there's a typo, ritualizing goals and shifting your point of view, these results, it goes back to the limitless talk. And maybe you're like listening to this and maybe you're completely connecting with it and you're like, yeah, go girl, this is it. And maybe you're like, I don't know, this is kind of different. So it might be a little bit sorcery, but really it's strategy. It's a combination of both. It's coming at life from a holistic approach. And it's lovely and magic happens. So wrapping up with that said, this has been a lot of information over the past few days, and it has been my pleasure to share it with you. If there's any questions at all, please, please, please ask away. Some of these concepts might be familiar to you, and some of them might be a little different. Tomorrow, hang on, we're going to get that in a second. So day 1, here's what we covered. This is all the questions you can answer to yourself and kind of expand on who you are and what you want out of life. Is day 1, it was what challenges that you're facing when it comes to building better habits? What life direction versus goals do you want for yourself? And what stage of change are you in? Yesterday, we dug into what constraints have held you back up to this point, because we're releasing them and moving forward. How you can create your personal masterpiece. And how will you shift your subconscious mind into your personal, proper goal slaying machine? Because it's already slaying goals. It's just possibly not everything you want. So tonight, these are the questions for you to answer, to layer on those other ones that you've done. And if you haven't already, that worksheet is on this page. Just click the download button and it'll pop up. It's an editable PDF, so you can fill it out on your computer if it allows that. Some older computers and different models don't. But you can print it up, whatever is your most favorite way of note-taking. And you can fill out these questions. And then also on the PDF is a link to day 3's discussion topic. Feel free to ask any questions or leave any comments there or in the comment section right below at the bottom of this page. So tonight's questions. How will you start a to-do list detox? And how will you change your POV to get a different ROI in your life? How will you stop compartmentalizing your life and just taking care, putting out these little fires in these different areas, like putting a Band-Aid on the workout, and then you got to deal with your emotions, but then your mind's not right, and then you feel like you're not spiritually connected. How are you going to combine it all and live this fully balanced life? And then, of course, the bonus questions. What surprised you tonight about this information? What resonated with you the most? And what was your biggest takeaway that you can't wait to start using immediately? Now, tomorrow, I told you, I promised you 3 days of deep kind of foundational work, and now we get to play. And I'm a big kid at heart. Clearly, I have this analytical side, but then I have this playful, let's go have fun and not take anything seriously side. There's just kind of really no, I have the two, I guess, the two sides. But, so day 4, I'm going to give you my 7 rituals that I do daily, so that I have a successful day, I have a successful week, I have a successful month, which keeps me functioning on a successful, happy life. And they're so good, y'all. They're so good. And it's fun. So the next 2 days, we're just going to be playing. There's no more like deep, mindful work. We're just getting into come with your childlike spirit to tomorrow's video and just be ready to connect like a kid with a sticker book and a crayons and paper, maybe some finger paints. Let's get in that kind of energy, because that's where we're going the next couple days with putting all this together, right? You have to know the information, but how we put it together, you're going to be surprised, and it's good. So with that said, hang on, almost forgot the quote. So, as you know, I like to close with a quote. And sometimes all we need is a new perspective. And it's so, so true. So true. Look at me keeping it 30 minutes. This is why I have slides, y'all, because they don't call me Gabby for nothing. Because I could talk and talk and talk. Like I said, very passionate about all this stuff. It's not only transformed my life, but I've been working with people for many, many years, and little nuggets through trial and error have come together over the years. And I'm sharing you this content that really has never been pieced together all in one before. So you guys are the first to get to experience this, and I'm absolutely thrilled. So with that said, have a wonderful evening, day, and tomorrow let's play. Sound good? All right, ciao.